We're going to speak to Rohit Talwar very shortly, leading AI consultant. But first, let's get the Prime Minister's take on what it actually is.
I've seen this for myself as a leader of a public service. And this is entirely human. But new technology can provoke a reaction, a sort of fear, an inhibition, a caution, if you like. And because of the fears of a small risk, too often you miss the massive opportunity. So we've got to challenge that mindset. Because actually, the far bigger risk is that if we don't go for it, we're left behind by those who do.
Go for what? Risk what? Gain what? Why can't he tell us what it is? Let's see if Rohit can help us. Rohit, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
I'm sorry for being so kind of dense about this, but I'm sorry, I watched Keir Starmer's speech yesterday. I couldn't really grasp what it was that he was selling us. I couldn't really tell what he was going on about. He didn't do a very good job of it, did he?
Well, it depends on what you want. If you wanted him to give a tutorial on AI and how you interrogate, huge amounts of data and how the algorithms work, then no, he didn't do that. But you wouldn't expect a Prime Minister to be doing that. But I think from a kind of independent perspective, I think he made the case that you need to, at every level, understand this technology now, start to make some time to see what it is and how it's penetrating our lives, how it can be used in business, and to understand that it is now, if you like, almost the only game in town in terms of big businesses and how they move forward. You can see what it's done to the valuations of the big technology companies. So if you take the likes of Microsoft and Nvidia, who make the chips for AI, they're now worth more than the UK economy. So you see how big it is. If you take the big 6 tech companies, they're worth 18% of the entire global stock market, really based on their investments in this technology. And it is starting to penetrate every aspect of our lives. The most common way most of us are seeing it is through these tools called large language models, things like ChatGPT and Perplexity and Gemini from Google, which are like super-powered search engines. They can interrogate huge amounts of data, and they have these algorithms called machine learning algorithms that learn from that data, are providing more and more accurate insights to us, helping you plan, helping you write emails, helping you do the work that you do inside your organizations that can make things much more efficient. There's a next stage of this, which is where the leaders in artificial intelligence want to go, which is to create AI that's as smart as humans or smarter. And that's called artificial general intelligence or artificial superintelligence. And this really is an arms race between the big corporations and also nations to say, this will change the game. So I think it's the World Bank says it could add 1.5% to GDP every year if you embrace it and use it in your businesses. For the UK, that's £47 billion a year that you could add, which if you look at what this government is trying to do in terms of growing the economy, that would go a long way to achieving it. So
But how does that translate into what I would say is everyday speak that people can understand? You can talk about big numbers. I mean, yesterday we were talking about £470 billion being boosted into the economy over the course of 10 years. But nobody's actually explained how and what the effect of that would be and how it would affect day-to-day operations for ordinary people.
Well, so if you break it down, that's £47 billion a year. And the way they see that coming is through people being able to do their jobs more efficiently because they're giving more of the work to what are called AI agents, which are like having really smart assistants that can do tasks and learn and keep.
Okay, well, let's take that one point then, and let's try and melt that down into how one person's job could be so much easier for them because of AI and why that would generate more money. Can you give me an example of somebody that would do that?
So let's say you're in marketing in an organisation,
right?
And you've got a new product to launch. So you might start by doing some research about the marketplace. You might then create a plan to say, okay, how are we going to market this? You might then create your social media campaign. Now, that's a lot of effort. That might take you 2 or 3 weeks to do. But using these agents to do all these specific tasks for us, you could do all of that in a day.
So why do you need the marketing job then?
Well, you need that person to still do the creative thinking. But what it means is they can be more effective and spend more time coming up with the creative concepts, so you don't have some of the terrible ads we see. But all the way through business, you can see tasks that can be done more effectively. Now, it raises a very important point that you've made there, which is why do we need these people? And there is a huge challenge coming in that we probably won't need as many people to do these jobs. So there's a sort of backfill required to create the next generation of jobs, which is why in this 50-point plan they've come up with, there's a lot of focus on upskilling people to do the new jobs in the new businesses that are coming through. A lot of the announcements that were made yesterday from the companies investing sort of 14 billion plus were around creating new jobs to go with these AI data centers and AI infrastructure and new computing facilities and all of that. But you need a different type of skill set to the jobs that will be being, if you like, replaced by AI. So that's why there's quite a strong emphasis in this plan on upskilling people. And apologies if people don't understand it. The technologists aren't that bothered about whether we as individuals understand it. They're busy pushing forward. And it's
they might not be bothered about. Well, it might not be bothered about whether people understand it. But an awful lot of people I speak to are concerned about data and data mining and data selling and data collection and data forwarding. You know, they think that they own their own data and they don't think they should just give it away for free.
Well, you know, since people started using the internet, we've been giving our data away. And that's one of the things that's made the big tech companies so wealthy. The likes of Google have used our data, Facebook, to analyze it, to create new insights, to sell services, and to attract advertisers. And so that's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, but a lot of data hasn't been given to people like Google, right? Your personal health data, for example, has not been given to anyone.
Well, now that what's happening is a variety of companies are taking things like our health data and applying these algorithms called machine learning algorithms to draw insights and to, for example, be able to analyze millions of cases around the world of people with cancer and draw out insights and to identify conditions that a normal cancer doctor wouldn't see because they're so rare. So it's having very valuable benefits there. It is,
but it does have. I'm sure it does have valuable benefits. But there are also concerns about what the other side of those valuable benefits might be, which would be with people. You know, when people are not. Some people are not very happy about what Facebook does with their data. They leave Facebook. But if you're now going to enter a world where you can't leave your data anywhere, where somebody isn't going to do something with it, then I think there'll be concerns about that, and people will not necessarily consent to it. I mean, we still get asked in most cases if we consent to things. The way that AI is being talked about, it suggests that nobody's going to be asked.
Well, a couple of things. With our medical data, the data that's being given to these companies is anonymized, so you won't know whose data it is, and you don't need to know whose data it is to do that analysis.
Well, no, but that's not true, is it? Because if the NHS, for example, which is one of the examples that Keir Starmer has given, if the NHS is going to, you know, streamline itself, rationalise itself, improve itself, the idea is that you will have diagnosis being done by AI. And that would involve not anonymising data, but it would involve your personal data being input into a data bank, surely.
Well, so to get the data set, to get the kind of, if you like, the information about all the different types of cases it could be, that's anonymised. And then it's taking your particular circumstances and comparing you and offering the doctor advice as to what type of cancer you might have. So, yes, there is that level of personal data. But when it goes into the system, what we're told is it's anonymised again. So in the same way,
but we can be told that, Rohit. But I mean, you know, I don't trust the government with anything at the moment. I wouldn't trust them with my data either.
Well, that's an issue there. Then that's about personal kind of.
Well, a lot of people feel the same way. A lot of people feel the same way. The government, the last time the government tried to, you know, computerise and digitalise health records, they spent £4.5 billion and it didn't work, and they had to abandon it.
Well, there's been countless failed IT projects in the health service.
Yeah, exactly.
It's such a complex organisation that it's hard to do. Going back to the point you're making about the likes of Facebook and Google, you can ask for your data to be anonymised and for them not to use it, but we're made to work very hard to tell them that. They don't make it easy for us to do that. And that is obviously a huge concern, that our data will be used in these things. It's that trade-off. Do you want free internet access? Do you want to be able to use these things for free? And they're saying, well, if you want them for free, the way you pay for it is by giving us your data. Yeah. So there's a trade-off there.
But we don't have free internet access because we have to pay for broadband, don't we?
It's not so much the internet access, it's using things like that. Yeah, you need to pay for your broadband, obviously, but using the search engines, using all the social media tools that we use, there's so much that we use for free. And those companies would argue that the way they can provide it to us for free is by taking our data, aggregating it and using it to market all the nonsense you see popping up on your Facebook feed.
And you're right, it's nonsense. Anyway, listen, we've got to stop. We can talk all day about this, I'm sure. Rohit, good to talk to you. Thank you. Rohit Talwar, leading AI consultant. You already made more sense than Keir Starmer did in about 5 minutes. But it still leaves an awful lot of questions unanswered, it seems to me. As he says, the geeks who are in charge of all this just assume it's all going to be brilliant. Well, I've seen rollouts of so-called, you know, innovative brilliance from governments. I've seen rollouts of things which haven't worked at all well, and I'm not at all convinced by this one way or another. Are you?